All right, let's go.
Cool.
Well, welcome back everyone to another huge episode of On the Range. No episode last week as we've been madly organising ourselves for this super exciting episode. Something a little different this week. However, I'm very excited to welcome Derek Rogers, better known as Roy, to the studio. Welcome to the podcast, mate.
Thanks very much, Hayden.
Welcome back to Port Lincoln yet again. Massive day at Wangari yesterday for the Tasman's Rangers clash.
It was good from the air.
Shows Marble Range 3-4-22 leading Tasman's 1 behind as we tick over to 1 minute gone on the Ace Merchandise and Apparel time clock in the second quarter, and the kick in missed everybody as it fell to Josh Slade at the back. Goes short to Guy Hutchinson. Umpire calling play on. They're going to hand pass this down this left wing onto the left boot. It's a bit of a slice kick, helicopter kick, beat everybody over the top. Wolford tries to get there first. He's beaten to it by Tasman's. Hand pass in, and now it's away from Charlton, kicking into the centre. They're just doing this so well. Marble Range. It's a bit of an up and under from Jackson Bennett. He got under that one, but the mark is taken by Lachlan Jennings, and Jennings will line up just slightly off centre to the right, but still very, very kick.
Man who loves a shot at goal, man who loves the camera. The thing to do with the camera is getting close.
We've seen the first term was quite punched up, but both sides allowing players to get free and
Yep. Lachlan Jennings makes no mistake from pretty much bang in front, so he adds
Lachlan Jennings, big strap, he loves it.
in this match.
Monumental occasion with netball and football coming together for the first time. Club legend Chad Owen's 300th game, and of course the sheep races to conclude the night.
And what a great feeling is to be here with all you guys in the day. It means a lot. And I'm not too sure about getting to 300. I think if you want to play footy, just keep playing until you conk out and you break down. But if you can keep playing, because once you give up, that's it. Chad, as you know, has done a lot around the district. In his whole life, he's been involved with this footy club. But today, we've reeled off 300 games for him, so it's going to be a great day for him. Hopefully, you're all supporting him in the celebrations afterwards on the ground as well. Because primarily, that's where it's come from. We come from someone playing footy, somebody who wants to play a game. Chad's done more than that for this club. He's truly served it over many years as a player. And just a few of the awards that he's received, which gives you a bit of an indication of the amount of effort that he's put into this footy club. He's a life member of the football club. He's a player life member of the football club. He was a club chairman from 2010 until 2013. 3 times he received the Hull Memorial Trophy. He was league captain in 2010 and 11. Won league premierships in 2000, 2006 and 2007. Reserve premierships in 2002 and 18. Playing coach in 2022. Chad had a couple of seasons off with injury during that time, but they're just some of the achievements that he's been awarded with. And official awards aren't everything. He's done a mountain of work that doesn't get recognised. Lots of little jobs that need doing during the year, and Chad's always been to the forefront when they need to be done. So Chad, you provided a great backbone for this club with the dedication and commitment to any issue that you've dealt with. You provided a wonderful example to any young player wanting to play sport and put time into supporting a club such as Marble Range. And today we acknowledge your 300th game for Marble Range, truly a great achievement in this era. We also need to acknowledge the support you've had from your family over this time to achieve this milestone. So thank you, Chad, for your efforts on the oval. You continue to set a great example of your love of the game, and you give your all when playing for Marble Range. Thanks, Chad, and best of luck.
Just while I've got these fellas here, it's an illustrious club. I didn't play this many games just to get the 300, but I'm pretty honoured and humbled to be with a Buckridge, a Morgan and a Hull You probably can't get much more Marble Range than that. I can think of other names. Plenty of people coming here. Samson's Prouds, you know, they're very much associated with Marble Range. I know I've missed plenty more, but I just love playing and put it back into the club because it's just what I did. I was fortunate enough, I had a job, I never left, and I think if you're here long enough, you will accumulate the games if your body holds in, and I just love playing footy. Even today, looking around at you young fellas, you know, 17, 18, I just like playing footy, and I like playing it here, and I love it. So all I'd say is you just put it back into the club that you love, and you'll get plenty out of it. So thank you.
Right on. How was your day yesterday?
Disastrous.
Disastrous?
Well, it was windy. I had the drone up. That wanted to land on the netballers because of the wind. So I had to fly it off into the bush and then find it.
Oh, right.
And then the Marble Range kids found it for me because they are, of course, quality out at Wangari.
Yes. Yeah.
Always glad to help, always friendly.
Very adventurous.
In fact, a couple of years ago when I was camped over there in my swag by the scoreboard after one of your grand final wins, the boys were celebrating and I got out of the swag and said, "Oh, look, boys, would you mind?" They went, "Oh, yeah, sorry, man, no worries." And immediately ran across the oval to leave me sleep in peace. Now, that is a quality club.
Oh, I can imagine, yeah.
Yeah, so, you know, it was nothing but, you know, you don't learn anything from everything going perfectly, do you?
No, that's right, exactly.
You learn things from issues like I had yesterday.
Yeah.
And I learnt from that.
I can imagine. Yeah, the wind's a bit unavoidable at Wangari from time to time.
Yeah, that's right, and I have played out there, of course, back in 89, 90.
Yeah.
I bear a big scar across my lip here from a Marble Ranger.
Oh, there you go.
But I was having beers all night that night, and I think I didn't get back to Tasman for the presentations that night because Marble Range, it's always a good time.
Yeah, it is. It's not an easy way to get back either. Tell us a little bit about yourself. I'm sure people know bits and pieces, but I'm sure I, and as many others, would love to know a little bit more about yourself.
Oh, well, I started here in 1989 with the Port Lincoln Times. I had been doing footy write-ups for the Anguston Leader prior to that.
Yep.
When I was at high school. And I came over here to get to do a cadetship. I was here in 1989-90, that's when I played for Tasmans.
Ball bounce awkward again. Rogers picks up the ball. He handballs across to Masson. Masson under his left leg. He goes for a short one.
Then they sent me up to the West Coast Sentinel in 91. Well, that's when Rural Press bought the paper from the Hill family. And they sent me up there as a cadet, so that was my big education. I did every article. There was no typesetter when I went up there. There was no photographer. It was only me.
Yep.
I did all the layout on an ancient 1970s computer.
Yep.
With a little black screen with green text on it. I had to talk to it in BASIC.
Yep.
Which fortunately I had done a bit of in grade 7. Got sent to the levels just out of Adelaide there and learnt BASIC and learnt to draw a square, which is what I did. Laying out newspapers was to draw a lot of rectangles.
There you go.
Yeah, and then I went over to the company sent me over to Murray Bridge, and then I went overseas backpacking for a couple of years. Went around America, ended up meeting a girl, going back to Europe, working in a warehouse over there, and then came back to newspapers. Ended up with News Limited. I was editor of Tasmanian Country, which is like the stock journal from 99 to 2007. And then I got interested in all the new media stuff that was happening and the fact that there was video on computers all of a sudden.
Yep.
So I registered a YouTube channel in 2008, which was less than a year after it started, I think.
Right.
And this is what I do now.
Perfect. Want to talk about your career a little bit. So we spoke a little bit off air about other interests. Played a little bit of footy in your time. Where did you play, and I guess how was your football career?
My footy was pretty ordinary.
Join the club.
Yeah, I wasn't even playing football when I came over here, but as you know, you've got to play. So I was initially going to go out to Souths actually.
Yep.
Spoke to someone there. That seemed like a great club, which it is. And Tom Milton talked me into changing my mind and going out to Tasmans.
Red and white.
Yep, and had a fantastic time out there because great bunch of Tasmans was really pumping then.
Yep.
Wall-to-wall people, it was great. I coached under 10s actually.
Yep.
as well as playing B grade. Played in the 1990 B grade premiership with a lot of absolute legends.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and yeah, on and off. I didn't play footy much after that until I got to Tasmania, and then I'd always followed a team called Penguin because they were called Penguin.
Yep.
And back in the day, the Advertiser used to have two big, when it was a broadsheet, it had 2 whole pages of footy results.
Yeah.
And Penguin's a small club playing in what was then State League, was divided into NTFL and SFL.
Yep.
Penguin was a small club in the NTFL, so I went
right.
along to play B grade.
Yep.
Ended up playing mostly A grade there, only because their fullback was young and flighty.
Yeah.
And I'd just go in there and fight, basically.
Yeah.
Step on toes, whatever it took, and try and minimise the damage.
Yeah, for sure.
So one day I had infamously 13 goals kicked on me, but I think the first 5 were on the other fella before I got the job. So my football career was not illustrious.
Yeah.
But I certainly love the game, love the people.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
Something you have been very successful at is obviously your filmmaking career. I guess where does that sort of begin for you, and at what sort of point did you take that up, and what drew you to that?
Well, it started in 2008, but the thing that really got me going was when people would come to me when I was in newspapers and say, "Can we see the article before it goes in?" And they were always told no.
Yeah.
For time constraints is usually the reason given. Anyway, one day I had an old farmer when I was at Tasmanian Country say, "Can I see it before it goes in?" I said, "No, time constraints." And he said, "Well, I appreciate that, but that's obviously not true because of email, and it would be my time, not yours." And that's a trade paper. It's not like the Advertiser. Like, there's no way the Advertiser's ever going to show you their story before it goes in.
No, definitely not.
No, they don't want to see what you've done to it until it's too late. But that was a terrific thing because I sent it to him, being a trade paper, and he got back to me, and because it was his farm, he was an expert, and he added quite a few interesting things because the reporter is never an expert. Yeah. So after that, the reporters had to go out with my card, give it to whoever they'd just interviewed, and say, "Would you like to see the article before it goes in?"
Yeah.
Pretty sure that's the only time that's ever happened.
Yeah.
In certainly at News Limited. And that was such a useful exercise. That got me thinking that the way to really put an article together would be to let the subjects do it themselves.
Yeah.
Very hard to do in a newspaper sort of format. I had to go at it, it's very hard. And also newspapers are so expensive. I actually started a newspaper after I left News Limited. I didn't mention that bit, which in Tasmania, there was an opportunity because they have 3 regional dailies. I'll keep the story short, but that cost me $26,000 to $27,000 a week to put out 27,000 copies.
Yeah.
The best we did was 10,500 income, which still left me about more than $15,000 short for the week. That's how expensive. And the thing that made it really hard was distribution, as it turned out, because paying someone to take a newspaper and put it in a letterbox is easier said than done.
Yeah, definitely.
What mostly happened is it got thrown in the bushes, and I was unable to solve that. So that was an interesting experience. But coming back to the film stuff, internet, as you know, Hayden, is got vast total distribution, which in itself presents challenges because how are people going to find your stuff?
Yeah, that's right.
Initially, people thought that it was an opportunity to have, for the mainstream traditional media to just grow globally. In fact, they've all died because other stuff has risen, like Facebook and that sort of stuff, and all the traditional media is losing money and is about to completely disappear. But what it has made possible is micro audiences, people who are really, really interested in a particular subject, and that has led to a different sort of journalism, which is what I do, it's what you do, which is all about, it's from the point of view of the subject of the story, and that's never been done before. When you work for the mainstream media like News Limited, everything is dumbed down for a general audience. Whereas when you're doing stuff for a specific audience and it's for that audience,
it's targeted
for the subjects, they want to know. It's a different slant altogether. Yeah. And they want to know all the detail. That's why my films are minimum 2 hours and quite often 3 hours long, which sounds absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
But actually, I've just clocked up 100,000 hours of actual viewing.
Oh wow, far out.
And that's not views, which can
Yeah.
be warped a bit. That's actual eyeballs on the screen, 100,000 hours.
Yeah, that's
The
cool.
views are about 1.3 million, and that's just videos mainly made on Eyre Peninsula.
Yeah, yeah.
The only other place I film is the Semaphore Workers Club, really, and that's music, and that gets 50 views. So
I was about to say the Bennett family would have contributed fairly heavily to the watched hours, I would have thought. It's quite a few videos.
I knew it would be popular over here because the Port Lincoln Times has, or when I was there, had a penetration rate of 80%. That meant 80% of the population in its circulation area read the Times, or read it then. That's down, that's a whole nother story again. But and the West Coast Sentinel, 85%. People really, really dig it.
Yeah.
And the other thing that's unusual about Eyre Peninsula is that people record their own histories. They make the effort to go out there, and they certainly write about it. A lot of poetry exists.
Yeah.
Lots of football poetry. Lots of photographs. Incredibly and uniquely, Eyre Peninsula has a lot of film.
Yeah.
Out at Marble Range, you had Lance Puckridge, pre-Super 8.
Pretty bloody good. Yeah. What sort of movie was it, Pete? Obviously wasn't a Super 8 thing. It was
Standard 8, aren't they? That's what Dad's...
Don't those Super 8s, they jump a bit, don't they?
Yeah, well, I think Super 8s came along afterwards.
Yeah, they were the more easy to operate version, weren't they? And sort of more of a cassette type thing than these are the old films that used to...
Standard 8, I reckon.
Yeah.
They were only 4 minutes. And then Dad just used to put them all together.
Oh, yeah.
Splice them, he called it, didn't
he? Yep, splicing machine.
Yeah, he had a glue.
Yep, which you used to have to do halfway through the film while we were watching. You'd hear it and you'd get this slight melting thing, and then you'd go flick, 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 flick.
Film enormous amounts of stuff from the 1950s onwards. You had Laurie Scholes, you had Max Oswald, you had Peter Freeman, you had all these people go out there and buy a camera. Like, if you're going to have to record your own stuff, and it was really because there was a dearth of media coverage. When I was at the Sentinel, I didn't cover Woodner. Yeah. I was working more than 100 hours a week, man. I didn't go to sleep on a Tuesday night. Yeah. It was the only way to get the job done. Yeah. Yeah. I couldn't be spending a whole day driving to Woodner and back. So really those places survive really on the basis of contributors who do it, and just people will just record it themselves. And if you're going to write something or take a picture, then a lot of people, or some people, thought, well, why don't I get one of those newfangled film cameras and just film the jolly thing? Yeah. And that's why Eyre Peninsula has more raw material than anywhere else that I've found.
We touched on one of your real interests being community or country sport. That being my first encounter with you being the 2016 Blues Grand Final in Ceduna, one of the best.
Sainsbury's on the run, needs to take and go, he's free! Sainsbury, long kick.
Dom Denton out to Lionel.
Wilson versus Denton, handball back, Jamal Boyce is quick. Good kick, Cloden can't mark, who's faster? Cloden! Kicks the goal!
Oh my God. There it is, there's the match winner.
Kick the goal!
Blues will come away with this is incredible.
Would you believe it?
One of the best. Where we commentated that game together, so shout out to the Blues boys back home if they're listening.
And you did a great job.
Yeah, I do revisit it from time to time.
I think Blues are going to hang on here, they're 3 points up, 12 goal 9
Not
plays.
be long left. There it is! The Blues have done it! The Blues are A-grade premiers! Oh, I need to get down there.
There you go.
I would have loved to have been playing, given that my A-grade career at the Blues up to that point was 0-35, and then I moved to Adelaide and they won the flag. So that still doesn't quite sit well with me, but I was very happy as well. I guess, where does your interest in community sport stem from?
Oh, from enjoying playing the game. Yeah. You know, I like the culture. I like the communities around football clubs. Not so much the administrators. Yeah. at a league level, but certainly the actual grassroots people, you know, they are really the salt of the earth, and they're real. It's not a particularly good answer, but yeah, I'm someone who doesn't watch AFL.
Yeah, right, okay.
I'm a Bulldog supporter. The last game I watched was the last time the Bulldogs made a grand final.
Yeah, 2016 as well, I reckon.
And I watched 2016 and loved it.
That was the night game, wasn't it? 2021.
More recent,
against Melbourne. Right.
Yeah. And I'm still wondering what happened in that game. Yeah. Certainly, I don't believe we were out there to win. But 2000, I mean, I just lost interest. It's turned into a corporate-owned game, if you like, or entertainment business, based in Melbourne. And you have all these volunteers at the grassroots level who are serving a company. And yeah, I've lost interest in the elite levels of the game, and I find my joy in football at the local level that way.
Oh, perfect. It's evidently a passion of yours amongst other things, but I guess what are some of the key things that you really enjoy about the work that you do with this interview style?
Well, it's all I do.
Yeah.
7 days a week.
Yeah.
So I guess it enables me to, I'm 53, that's significant.
Yeah.
I always wanted to start on this sort of, I just wanted to do my own thing.
Yeah.
Because when you're working for big media organisations, one of the privilege of the owners is not reaching an audience of hundreds of thousands. It's getting a story around the paper that only 6 of their friends are going to care about. So, and that's the reality of, you know, Rupert Murdoch. You know, the big thrill is that he can say what the front page lead's going to be that no one's going to read.
Yeah.
You know, I get the same sort of thrill out of just doing stuff that I consider important. If no one else does, well, that's okay, because I'm just master of my own destiny. And I sit at home making these sort of videos because I enjoy it, basically. And I've just started making money out of it, like, you know, because I do films over here just for petrol money.
Yeah.
But then schools, and mainly schools are the best payers. I get $20,000 for a video.
Yeah, right. Far out.
Over there, that's, you know, they're still 2 or 3 hours long.
Yeah, fairly significant.
But the way I put them together also is because I do it subject based, and the people in it actually drive the shape of the film.
Yeah.
They're very quick to put together. So I've got, well, when I say on that channel, there's more than 1,000, and so yeah, it's a great joy to me, Hayden, and that's why I do it. I can't really give any solid reason. It's not going to make me rich, but it makes me very happy.
Yeah, that's the best part.
And also, I get to chase up a lot of people who I met 30 years ago when I was here. Yeah. Like Wendy Treloar, fantastic. She was my main source when I did the Bush Telegraph gossip column at the Port Lincoln Times, which only didn't last much longer after I left. You've got to have the passion, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
In fact, a lot of the football scrapbooks, particularly Lincoln South, is mostly my stuff from the 2 years I was here. Yeah. Because I did profiled Barry Speed and those sort of people, because I was interested, you know. Otherwise, you know, it certainly hasn't been done since. But you know, chasing up. In fact, the guys I played B grade football with, like Rusty.
Not the ball there. Been pushed in. It's been played on. Justin Lowe's met the ball well.
You know, that's what I do, is the opportunity to give me an excuse to go and have cups of tea and beers with
visit these people. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. What are some of your greatest achievements or experiences doing the work that you do? Because I can imagine you've probably worked with some pretty special people over time.
Experiences, for sure.
Yeah.
And achievement's probably the wrong word. I'm never going to win an award for what I do. But I got to get Neil Curley's story. Yeah. Sat at his place at Walker Flat there for 3.5 hours. Just me and Neil. That was pretty special.
Yeah, it would have been.
Yeah. So that's, I mean, Russell Ebert got that interview too. That was a great experience. But there's how many people I interviewed now? Easily 1,000, I guess.
Yeah, wow.
And they're all terrific experiences, and that in itself, Hayden, is a lifestyle.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah.
I want to talk about the official Marble Range Football Club documentary now, which is obviously super exciting. So for those who don't know, Roy's been developing a large-scale documentary for the football club, which is nearing closer and closer to its
Couple of weeks
eventual
away,
release.
that's right. You'll be seeing it.
Very exciting. What sort of brought this plan to fruition?
I came over in 2020 because there was a bit of COVID money around.
Yeah.
And I unexpectedly had 20 grand in my account to do something with. It mainly meant that my missus wasn't going to give me too hard a time. And I thought, well, I might go and film a football game this weekend. And I thought, well, the most interesting one to go to, even though I played for Tasmans, would be Wangari. Because it was top 2 clash, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, way back's Marble Range, I reckon, wasn't it? Yeah.
And because of all the country players coming to Lincoln for that season, because all the other leagues got cancelled, it struck me as, and you had all those country players, obviously Seals and Ian Jericho and those players at way back. So it just struck me that that was going to be the most interesting game to go to. I did. Marble Range lost by 5 points, I think, after being 43 points up.
I was about to say, yeah, that's not one we revisit too often, but yeah, we...
Fantastic. You don't learn anything from a win.
No, that's right. Exactly.
You learn a lot from a loss. And that's what Boyd West and others talk about in the film, what you did learn from that disastrous result that day.
Watson, Seal got him.
I'll tell you what, Ned Brooks
He's got him streaming out in the middle there.
Ned Brooks did absolutely nothing wrong there. Just shows you how good Jonty is.
So last time I said out in the fall, I'll stick with that. And hopefully we get the same result.
He's a little bit quicker this time. He must be up and about.
He's got it.
You said he's a confident player. And obviously the confidence is there.
Which it was, but, you know, success in life comes from falling down 7 times and getting up 8.
Yeah.
And you can't fail with that sort of approach.
No, that's right, exactly.
So that took me there that day. And then I was asked to come back. Well, basically, the club gave me the petrol money.
Yep.
I said, oh, okay, well, you know, how about some more of that? Gave me the petrol money. So I filmed 3 games in 2021, 2 minor round games plus the grand final. And then I filmed the 2022 grand final, and then I got that game against Tasmans yesterday. So, you know, I took an interest, and the club was keen to explore that, and it turns out to be probably the club best equipped to do that because he had Lance Puckridge there. I mean, you've got, among other things, there footage of the very first season of Marble Range in the Port Lincoln Football League in 1953, playing B grade, because of course they had to play several years of B grade first. Now that exists. That's incredible. That's amazing. It doesn't really exist for...
No, it's not very often in grassroots footy.
Not even for league footy.
No, to find games like that in that period of time.
But yeah, with the league clubs, like, they don't even really have it. Marble Range is a very unusual club to have its whole history there available. A lot of this stuff, like if you go looking for it, that's when it turns up. But anyway, sorry, I've drifted there.
No, I love the experiences. Have you created anything like this before, like for a football club, like a project like this?
Oh yeah, I've done quite a few. I've done, gosh, Elliston, North Whaler, Kynecutter, which is Central Air, Woodner. Woodner's the one that got me going, 2018. Actually, sorry, I had done a couple before that. Because 2017 I spent up in the hills, Adelaide Hills. I funded that just myself because I wanted to... I was 50, I was 49, and I was looking at, okay, what am I going to do the next 30 years? And if you've got the luxury of time, then you can invest it in certain ways. And I invested a whole season, plus the money going up to the Adelaide Hills because it was close and I could work out what I was doing.
Seemed to be swung off it. So it was a Rupchik. So the ball comes back up here towards Reece Jordan, double grab, taken by Moss. Oh, quick hands out to the edge. He fumbled. Oh, good pressure there from Bridgewater. From Healy. Healy gets it across here.
Fielding.
Across Fielding. He's got a Paddock to break into. Puts up to
Willie!
Oh, over!
He wanted that.
Got the perfect sit there.
That was perfect sit from Willie Wisey.
Gareth de Perouse was just, well, a spectator in that contest. As Willie Searle Wisey reminded of you at your prime.
No, not quite, mate. He got caught under that and had the perfect sit, the big fella. So
that'll be a good shot on Full Hills Footy Flicks, no doubt. Goldie is Willie Searle.
Well, he's just got to finish it.
Third and first for the two.
Good work, Willie. That's the double.
I could work out how to film a game, I could work out how interviews were going to work, and I could just really work on it. Before that, in 2016, I had done the Anguston 1986 Premiership story, because I grew up in Anguston, and that was fantastic, that was monumental, so I went and did that. But again, just to work out what I was doing. And then I had actually done Rosewater, a couple of films there, because I was playing footy there.
Yep.
And I did their 1950s Premiership story there. So probably in about 2015. So I guess I had been going for a while.
Yeah.
But I have done quite a few. I reckon I must have done about a dozen clubs, I guess. So I have done quite a few leading up to Marble Range. But Marble Range is very easy and one of the best ones because it has so much footage of throughout your history.
In the favour of Marble Range through Carlson. Carlson's kicking out for a man on the lead. They can't do anything wrong. They've been red hot in this final term, and they've really played well in the latter half of this game to show Cleanborough Hills to Waybacks in the second half, and every answer that Waybacks been able to bring back to them, Marble Range have answered back strongly again. Little Grant Parker, plenty of football future in front of him. He's only a Colts player. Big kick by Parker into the forward area. It's gathered in by a heap of players on the ground there, and Puckridge it is under the scrimmage of play. Very happy to keep the ball down in that attacking area. Must be only a minute or so to play. We're all right in the final time of the game. Gathered by O'Connell. O'Connell's kick into a scrimmage of players. And Marble Range run out winners of the 1978 Grand Final. 11 goals, 8, 74 behind. The Waybacks 9 goals, 9, 63 behind. Cameron will stay with you for a moment. We'll have a look at the players out on the ground.
If you look at everything and you do turn over as many stones as you can, you'll find stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Tell us a little bit about the Marble Range documentary. Spoiler free, obviously, but what can viewers expect from this project?
Well, there's a couple of premierships in it.
That's the best bit.
We're just about to enter time on. Keeley, he's right in front. 5-degree angle maybe. Kicking from 35.
What are you going to do with it, Spog?
Wind coming across. Tynan Keeley.
Kick the goal, of course.
He nails it.
That's the best bit.
There's the Puckridge family are fantastic.
Yeah.
You ready? And also Peter Dowdall's in that interview as well. I have to thank Jo Napstein, Nee Puckridge for that. She got Peter along and also her brothers, because they were impossible to line up otherwise.
Yeah, I can imagine.
As you know, with people, yes, that would be good.
Yeah.
And it's impossible to actually sort out a time.
Make it work.
Make it work, sort of thing. But what you need is their sister.
Yeah.
And sisters sort stuff out.
Yeah, right. There you go.
Yeah. So there's history going back to early days, because obviously you've got that footage of 1953. All sorts of stuff, the Wangri Hall being built where you've got the clubrooms now, which doesn't actually feature in the film, but you can find it on YouTube. EP Yarns is a great source of material as well as a great place to put my stuff up.
Yeah.
It's got 19,000 members now.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
That's massive. The Port Lincoln Times, its circulation has never been bigger than 6,500.
Yeah, right.
And their online presence is very small. What you've got now is media like yours.
Yeah, that's right.
It's much bigger than the mainstream media.
Especially, it's all subscription based, a lot of it as well. Still, it's so much easier to access material now.
Yeah, that's right. But that's where it's actually gone.
Yeah,
which is not a big surprise, because a lot of the material that newspapers have always used has been sent in by contributors. The Port Lincoln Times has had heavy reliance over the years on people up the peninsula just sending stuff in, mostly unpaid. Every paper I've been at has had a heavy reliance on that. The Mercury, the Advertiser, is that sort of thing's a bit different. They don't really run community type news, which is a shame. They should. But that's a whole different ball game. You're talking about the egos of journalists, basically.
Yeah.
And you're talking about the big papers.
Yeah.
But again, I drift. Sorry.
How long's the film taken up to this point? How long have you been working on it for?
I've been working on it, I guess, since 2020, really.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
So I've got to write that down so I can tell Wally.
You can take that with you, Beth.
Good job, Dipper. Thanks very much.
Thank you, mate.
Brilliant. Good job. Good luck this season.
Thank you.
Hope they bring home the bacon for you.
And I'll get some photos and some stuff going about my history.
Great. I'll come around tomorrow.
Far out. It's a long period of time, isn't it?
Well, at the moment it's about 2 hours long.
Yeah.
I'm going to try and keep it at 2.5 because my stuff does tend to get a bit long. But you'd be amazed that people who actually watch that stuff.
Oh, absolutely. I can't wait. I'm so excited.
Now it comes running, tap down there by Boyd once again. Comes onto Marble Range player. He gets a handball and a mini. Gets it back again.
Here they come. Oh, yes, he says.
And that's the one, Marble Range player.
Now that is a big moment. That is a big one.
Yeah, no, it's funny because Jeb kicked that goal and then ran back to the wing and started spewing up.
Wow.
Yeah, I'd had to get rotated off the bench.
And that was dehydration or overexcitement?
Oh, probably everything. Bit of hard running.
Mm.
Goal 9.33. They trail Waybacks 5.10.40 on the Cleverson Sales Service scoreboard, mate, and that's a very important goal for the Marble Range side.
If they break it down into bits and bits and bits, then they can say they need 3 goals to get in front. They can look at themselves and now say, that's one.
Yeah. You can see the nerves they're feeling at this point. They're feeling sick.
Yeah. And we were confident, but there was moments where it got down to the last couple of minutes, like, geez, are we actually going to do this or not?
Mm.
You start to doubt yourself a little bit, but then...
You left it late?
Yeah, we left very late.
And Jennings will affect the tackle, and the umpire calls mine, and he'll ball it up right on this left centre wing for Waybacks. And United Yelena in a boil over. In Great Flinders have won by 3 points. Let's see if there's a boil over here. Max Black with it, onto the right boot, looking for a contest. And there's all sorts of players around. Billy Bias with it.
He's
Bias,
done the dribbler.
Can he
He's
run
done
it?
the
Can he run it?
Because YouTube breaks down things into, it gives you a lot of information, which of course the mainstream media has never had.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, newspapers make up their circulation figures.
Mm.
Yeah. and there's no way of even them really knowing. But YouTube breaks it right down into age groups, where people are from, and also it breaks down to exactly how much your video people have watched. And it gives you all sorts of totals and averages, and you get a really good idea of what people are looking at. This idea that people won't watch more than a 3-minute video is actually a complete fallacy. You know, if someone's telling you that, oh look, no one watches more than 3 minutes of any video that they do, they're telling you that really that no one watches more than 30 seconds.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, in other words, it's unwatchable. The vastness of internet distribution means that, in fact, you'll find any audience that you're looking for, whether it's a TikTok audience of 30 seconds or whether it's someone there who wants to sit down there and watch 3.5 hours of Elliston football history, you know.
You'll find what you want to watch.
You'll find what you want to watch. And what you will find is that the Elliston one has had a couple of thousand views on it. There's only like 350 people living there, man. You know, it's...
Yeah, oh, for sure. And we spoke off air, like, about this podcast and how the audience has expanded beyond Marble Range, which I probably didn't perceive at first would happen.
Because with the internet, you're no longer defined by the limits of distribution within your geographical area. Because it is infinite, the commonality is the subject.
Yeah.
And people all over the world can just go and find their interest in their particular stamp they're interested in, or their football club that they're interested in, or, you know, if you're talking country football, there's a lot of people who are just interested in country football. And that's where you get a lot of your audience from, is people who are way backers or even from the Riverland.
Yeah, definitely.
And they're interested in this stuff. A lot of people, in fact, when I'm interstate, I'll bump into people who have watched
videos,
one or more of these films. Yeah.
What have you enjoyed most about this project? Are there any favourite stories or experiences with people you've worked with?
Oh, I don't do something unless I get a massive charge out of it.
Yeah.
Because I get to pick and choose who
for sure.
Who I talk to. I'm a master of my own destiny in that sort of regard, I guess. Because the beautiful thing about only charging clubs petrol money is that it's sort of, I guess it's pretty much an unspoken thing that I will go and do it the way I want and I'll talk to who I want. I certainly take heed of requests and suggestions.
Yeah, definitely.
But, you know, it's only petrol money. And also, I consciously kept it to a small, it's only $2,000 for a club, petrol money. And it's small enough that if anyone pisses me off, I just give them money back.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I've got joy out of all of those. I mean, I mentioned some of the big names like Neil Curley and that, but talking to Barb Freeman up there at Wirral, talking about Wirral, that netball one that I did, I was sitting there with Barb going through her scrapbook and she had this old photograph from the 40s. And which is a fair while back.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, and she said, "Oh, that lady's still with us, and that lady there." And so then we cut to those ladies. Like that was probably about my greatest moment, probably Hayden in the whole thing actually. Oh, that awesome. That netball thing, and you're talking Streaky Bay B grade netball was probably the most exciting thing I've ever done, Hayden, and that is the honest truth.
Oh, that's awesome. Said a couple of weeks. Do we have an exact release date of when the film's looking likely?
2 to 3 weeks. If you want an exact date, we can probably set one.
Yeah.
But I mean, one of the natures of this thing is that it is as long as you know, how long's a piece of string? It is as long as it's going to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that varies on the amount of material in it, and it's done when it's done.
Yeah.
The thing, and I guess coming from a 24-hour news cycle sort of background with newspapers, that's extraordinarily limiting.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and beyond that 24 hours, nothing really gets followed up too much. You know, you can't really do any research outside of that. Well, you're not even talking 24 hours. You're obviously talking about 8 hours that you spend at work.
Yeah.
Most reporters spend about 5 hours drinking coffee and chatting. So you're talking about 3 hours a day's maximum amount of sort of research that you're going to get to do. But that is the discipline of a deadline. I don't really have deadlines. With the Marble Range one, Tim is keen to know when he's going to see it, but he's a wise man and he only ever asks when he's going to see it. He never says it's about time we saw it. So it just comes together as it does. This is only the first part, by the way, Hayden, of the Marble Range story. Yeah. This is only going to be a 2.5 hour introduction.
Yeah.
I think the Lincoln South one is actually a 3.5 hour introduction.
Yeah, right.
Because that's only part one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, partly I'll keep following it over the next 20 years because I'm only 53 and more stuff is going to happen.
Yeah.
And also my intention with all these is to update them as we go. And then when I'm when I'm incapable of getting up and driving up and doing any more interviews, when I'm knackered, my intention is to go through all this stuff and improve on it.
Yeah.
I'm always collecting more material. Woodner I've collected a lot more material for, which I'll add to their film. Gee, they've had a lot of stuff happen.
Yeah.
Marble Range, I've already got more stuff that I'm not going to use in this film.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's all open-ended, Hayden. But you will see this in the next 2 or 3 weeks. I would probably say 3 weeks if you want to put a date on it. What's today's date?
Good question. 30th.
Yeah, so I reckon probably you could safely say that by the 1st of September. How's that?
Oh, awesome.
No later than that. Certainly you will see it before the grand final.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of stuff there where Boyd in particular is talking about stuff that's happened over those 2 years, or 2.5 years, I guess, from 2020 to the 2022 premiership, and it just works that way. And it also talks about losing Corey Beard. And
I've seen that in the trailer. Yeah.
Corey Beard was getting tagged. Someone kick the dog!
That's wicked.
That's freaking cool.
That looks like it's supposed to happen.
Liam Dennis can't pick it up. He does pick it. Get it onto his boot quickly. Tasmans can't take it cleanly. Neither can Marble Range. The ball's tapping around. Who's going to take clean possession and break away? Marble Range is the one. The ball comes out to Marble Range. He gets tackled. Now Dennis. He can't take it. Thompson goes in there quickly and gets it. It's all Marble Range here though. Daniels can't take it. Comes down. Marble Range got plenty of numbers. Now goes back into attack. Marble Range here. Yes, the mark taken by Jennings. Jennings now looking out wide for Boyd West. This is going to hit him. No, he's not going to get there. But he grabs it. Clear. Gets the handball out. Can't take. Oh. Ball comes down. Marble Range. Tackle. He's tackled. He has a kick.
There he is.
Yeah, it's through. He's going to give it. He's given the goal.
Corey Beard.
Well, it's nice having him around while he was around.
Yeah, oh.
Drifting a long way from his usual half-back position.
I've said it once and I'll say it again. He's probably the best player I've ever played with or against.
All right, start of the third quarter, just after half time. Rangers 7-9-51. Waybacks 5-2-32. So who have you got on best player so far? Beth?
Well, no, I'll pass on that one.
I'll tell you what, Corey Beard
well,
has been phenomenal. First game back.
Well, tell me about Corey Beard.
Yeah, just a star player and a star person, really.
This is a very important. He wants to get this out of defence as far as he possibly can. He'll take his time. The clock's ticking down. We're into time on. Now he plays on, onto his left foot, goes out wide, looking for and finding Jed Wolford. A lovely kick. Held his composure beautifully now. Jed Wolford on the half-back flank for the Marble Range side here at Centenary Oval. The crowd is called to play on. Goes to run around. Gets it onto his left foot. Goes out to centre wing. Up they go. Great!
Oh, big grab. Fantastic. Cometh the hour, cometh the man.
Yeah, so it's a topical sort of thing now. And then, I filmed a bit of that yesterday, how you coping without Corey Beard, which is pretty good.
Definitely.
Yep.
Our young backs are dominating at the moment.
That's right.
And tap to advantage. Marble Range first one to mess with the crumb, and I think it's a free kick to Tasmans, and they're going to play on here. Can they get any clear possession? Izzo the hand pass back, and now it's Harry Haybick looking for an option onto the left boot. It's a terrible kick, but it's going to sit nicely because Hutchinson can't control it. Hutchinson, just a terrier at the ball. It was 2-on-1 Tasmans, and I thought Hutchinson got legged, and he did. Well, he got tripped and he got hit high at the same time. Figure that one out. Hutchinson's going to play on quickly. Hand pass away to Josh Slade. Slade goes inside forward 50. One-on-one contest. Squat nicely.
Jed Wolford dishes it out.
Left foot snap. Kyle Castley. Kyle Castley. Oh, it's a beauty from Kyle Castley. Straight down the centre. And Marble Range, they have their third goal of the afternoon. That is a definite contender for the EP Surf goal of the day. Make it your goal to look great with EP Surf.
I think we'll be talking about that one at the end of the game.
That's right. And so it's even though it's historic, it's also topical now. You know.
Yeah.
And then you might even get onto the State of Place series as well, which I've done 5 of.
Yeah, I think I do recall those videos actually.
The intent with those was to put together that material and save it for 20 or 30 years.
Yeah.
But then because of the changes coming in, it was obviously pretty topical. Yeah. So I figured, well, gee, it would be a shame not to make an effort and put that stuff together. And the way that stuff came together was at the end of every interview with these older legends in their 80s and 90s, I'd say, anything else you want to say? And quite often they'd say, yeah, what's going on with footy now is such and such and such and such in my day, and so I just recorded all that and had it, thinking that I wouldn't get to use it for 20, 30 years. But then, of course, it's talking about stuff that was happening there on the spot, like Madigan Sampson there, talking about what's going on with farming, what's going on with the communities. And then stuff kept on popping up, like, do you want to get into that stuff?
I'm sure there's been plenty.
And there's still plenty more to come, because they're just about to announce more changes there, which is one of the points that is made in this by various people on Eyre Peninsula in the State of Play videos, is that change is coming. It'll work if it's driven from the clubs and the grassroots of football. the point is mentioned by some of the presidents there that if it is imposed on people from the top, from the SANFL, and that would be the AFL above them, and Canberra ultimately, if it's imposed on people, then it won't work so well. Well, I won't have an opinion on that today, but suffice to say that what we've ended up with is changes being imposed from the top down.
Yeah.
Now, we'll just see over the next 20 years how that goes.
How that goes, yeah.
Yeah.
Ah, perfect.
Because the next day to play, I won't bring out for 20 years.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that was my original intent, for one thing. And then you need 20 years to let things play out.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
You know, at the moment, just like any situation where some government authority or whatever, any sort of authority body, they go, look, we're going to do this. And then 6 months later, like, yeah, that wasn't so bad, was it? You need 20 years.
Yeah.
So we will see. And then we will see who was right and who was wrong.
Well, speaking of updating, hopefully we've got another couple of premierships to add to the end of the documentary.
You'll have half a dozen premierships.
I'm hoping so.
Yes.
Keep winning them for fun.
Yes.
Well, Roy, I'd firsthand like to thank you for coming on my podcast today to talk about the documentary, and to thank you for all the work you've done for our club.
Love the club.
Yeah, really appreciated the chat and some of the experiences you've had. So thanks very much for coming on.
Tops.
Awesome. Thanks, mate. Cheers.
All right. Go the Rangers.